Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to the United Stands. As Sabitzer says, he's here to win trophies with Manchester United. We'll have a few comments coming in from our new signing. Also, Erik ten Hag issuing quite a stark February transfer warning, another injury. Even with Sabitzer, we're still a little bit shallow in this team as the relentless games come through. But what is next for Manchester United? Very excited to see lots and lots of games and lots of opportunities. We'll be talking about that. We've also got the inside track on why Manchester United went for Sabitzer and what they think of what has been a very successful January transfer window. Maybe you'll have some thoughts on that. The Telegraph has done a piece on Richard Arnold and what a good job he's been doing. We'll give you the facts on that and you can have your assessment on that. Also, Newcastle into the Carabao Cup final. Obviously, it's a match day for Manchester United tonight. We'll look at Newcastle and their relatively easy month. Newcastle with 4 games in February. I think we've got 8. Definitely got 8. Maybe have more, but 8. Interestingly, Newcastle play on the Saturday night. They have 8 days until the Carabao Cup. We play on the Sunday and on the Thursday before. So they'll be very fresh for that final. The challenges of February for Manchester United. Also, Axel Twansebi's gone to Stoke. A few other bits I want to get into. We'll look ahead to the summer, potentially about that, and a few other bits as well. But let's fly straight into it. These are the words of Sabitzer, our new Manchester United signing. He said, sometimes in life you have to make quick and important decisions. From the moment I heard about this opportunity with Manchester United, I knew it was right for me. I'm a competitive player. I want to win and help the club achieve its aims this season, trophies. I feel that I'm back at my peak as a player and that I can contribute a lot of experience and energy to the squad. I'm excited to start with my new teammates and manager to show my qualities to Manchester United fans. He's here to win, people, and that's what we want. John Murtagh, Manchester United Director of Football, has said that Marcel is a player that we've watched for a long time. The opportunity arose quickly and we knew that he was someone with the ability and chance to make an impact. He adds further quality to our squad and experience to the dressing room, and all of us are pleased to be welcoming him to Manchester United. So encouraging words from Sabitzer himself. He does bring experience, he does bring quality, and he does bring that energy that I think this team is in need of. I think if you're going to buy anybody in... And I was thinking about this morning as well. Remember, we've constantly spoken about the demands of this season. They're obvious. An idiot would know. Look, at the end of the day, the season started right at the start of August and it will finish right at the end of May. The Champions League final's on the 10th of June, for God's sake. The season's ridiculous. And that's because of the World Cup. The World Cup was in November and that was intense as well. Players are... I think players will be dropping like flies over the next 4 or 5 months because I just don't know how they can do this from August to May, playing 3 games a week. It's ridiculous. So we always knew it was going to be difficult. And we always knew it would be difficult to bring players in January. And I think when you look at someone like Chelsea, there's a few players in that Chelsea signings that didn't go to the World Cup. So they are fresh legs. Sabitzer is fresh legs. For Sabitzer didn't play that many games. Well, he has played a few games for Bayern, but he's not been a starter. So he's automatically fresh. He didn't go to the World Cup with Austria either, so because they didn't go to the World Cup. So we've brought a really good player in January. I think people have missed that. You can bring good players in, but we've also brought a player in that's got nowhere near the fatigue of a lot of our players, like the Casemiros, the Brunos, the Rashfords. They've accumulated a lot of game time since August. Sabitzer could be a really good signing also for his freshness as well. Daniel Kirk says Bruno Guimaraes got sent off last night, could be huge for us, says Daniel. Yeah, I think he misses the final. Some people were saying that it would be served domestically in the Premier League, but I think he misses the game because I think he misses the final because that's what happened with Maguire, wasn't it? Welcome to Members Club Ace Supply. So encouraging words from Sabitzer, and this is the inside track on what Manchester United have basically put out there about what happened. So this is from good sources at Manchester United. The United Stand understands as Eriksen injury diagnosis became clear in the past 24 hours, Manchester United identified Sabitzer as the best attacking midfielder available for a short-term loan. The club acted quickly to fill gap following in injuries to Eriksen, Van der Beek and McTominay. Now this is a bit I want to talk about in a little bit because Ten Hag has issued an update on McTominay that sort of got swallowed up yesterday. Scott McTominay is out for a number of weeks, at least 2 weeks, could be longer. He's got a muscle injury of some sort. So McTominay was missing at the weekend with an injury, and he's going to be out for the next couple of weeks as well. So look, we didn't know that yesterday morning. We knew we needed to bring players in, but we didn't know about McTominay. So effectively, if we hadn't brought Sabitzer in, Mainu would be the sub. for every game over the next 2 weeks for Bruno, Fred and Casemiro. That would have been our next pick. Like, McTominay's injured, Eriksen's injured, Van der Beek's injured. So that's where we were. So it brings it home, the warning that Ten Hag has basically given us by telling us about McTominay, that we are, even with Sabitzer, we're still quite limited in our options in the midfield at the moment. Can you please look at 10 to 20 seconds before Eriksen tackle open-minded? Should that ball have been cleared instead of past Eriksen, putting him under pressure? These errors cost team one way or another, says Sarvish. I think you're talking out your arse, mate. I can't be arsed with people who analyse football in that way. The tackle is 100% on Andy Carroll. It is reckless. It is a season ender. That has got nothing to do with... You can analyse the game too far. I've played the game. When I play five-a-side or anything like that, how many bad passes are there? How many bad shots are there? Every decision could be done differently. Don't listen to these prats who analyse football with a calculator. Everybody makes a bad choice. Everybody plays a bad pass. There can be no accountability to the pass that Eriksen receives. That is on Andy Carroll. It's ridiculous. What we're going to do, analyse football through AI. It's disgusting. I'm sorry, Sarvesh. I know you're probably offering up a different angle, but I think some people are going too far in their tactical analysis. The joy of football is its simplicity. The joy of football is it's not played by robots. People make mistakes. People come out with moments of genius. That tackle is on Andy Carroll and Andy Carroll alone. I'm not having that, I'm afraid. But let's look. So this is why United acted. They basically had, they had to act. Sources close to Man United say the club's main objective going into January window was a striker for the rest of the season to fill in the gap left by Ronaldo, which was achieved early in the window with the signing of Wout Weghorst. So United putting it out there that they're happy with their transfer window. United understands that Manchester United made additional reactive deals for Jack Butland to replace the recalled Dubravka, Sabitzer in response to injuries, and to further strengthen the squad to continue in all four competitions. So again, United putting it out there that they feel they've had a good window. Sabitzer's been brought in to cover Eriksen. Butland's been brought in to cover Dubravka, and Weghorst has been brought in to cover Ronaldo. And there you have it, to strengthen the squad so they can continue in all four competitions. Now, I get it, but I'm going to say right here now, I don't think Butland, Weghorst and Sabitzer make us able to fight for four competitions. I don't think we were able to fight for four competitions at the start of the season, and I don't think we are now. I think if the club seriously wanted to fight for four competitions, you needed to add another two players, another forward and another midfielder on top of what we've already brought. So, look, it's all about perception, isn't it? Sources close to Manchester United say that Sabitzer is well known to the scouting department as high-quality, versatile player, most often used in attacking midfield roles. He's experienced, energetic international with 68 caps for Austria, and a leader, captain during his time at Leipzig. I mean, all of that's very, very good. As we know, we spoke about this last night, Sabitzer is well known to the scouting department. I mean, he's certainly been known to the scouting department for at least 4 years. We were looking at him at Leipzig. Obviously, he chose Bayern Munich. I know Rangnick was recommending him over a year ago as well. So, look, he is well known to the scouting department. And yeah, look, United putting it out there that they're happy with the business that they've done. I again would say what I said last night, even with a sleep. I feel that I would mark this transfer window as a 4 out of 10. It would have been 2 with just Weghorst and Butland. So I think Sabitzer's a good signing. But in no way do I think this is an okay transfer window. I think it's, McTominay's injured, Donny's injured, Eriksen's injured, Sabitzer comes in. So 1 player comes in for 3 injured players. Quick maths. Cavani, Ronaldo go, Weghorst comes in. Yeah, that's my mic drop. That's it for me. I'm not saying we haven't done good business. I'm just saying we brought 1 player in for 3 and 1 player in for 2. We're not serious, we're not serious. And but I totally accept that people within that football club are fighting, a sword fight with a breadstick, and you've got to try and spin the positive, of course you have. But ultimately, I think it could have been a lot better, and we've seen rivals do a lot better. But we go with what we've got. And as I said this morning on Twitter, I'm actually quite pleased that the transfer window is closed, because we can't there's nothing we can do about it now. We do go with what we've got. Saba has played 100,000 minutes. Bruno 2,600 minutes. Top CM says John. I'm confused. If Maguire's suspended, why can Bruno play? Surely that's not fair. FA shafting us again, says Daniel. I don't know what you're talking about in relation to suspension. And Aram says, with our strongest positions now on the wing, do you think there is an opportunity for Sancho to try a different position? At 10, says Aram. Aram, I think we've spoken about this very, very quickly, and there's a lot to get through on the show, but I don't know why people are putting Jadon Sancho as a number 10. He's not played football for 3 months. He'd lost his place before that because he wasn't tracking back and working hard enough. You now want to move him from a position that he's not mastered to a position that is 5 times the workload. I think Jadon Sancho's got the ability to play as a number 10, but I think it's completely unrealistic. I mean, with Ten Hag, anything's possible, but he needs to master the work rate of a winger under Ten Hag before he can master being a number 10. Number 10's a hard position. It's so hard. You have to cover the defence and you have to be part of the attack. You've got to run and run and run and run for 90 minutes. Bruno probably doesn't get the credit he deserves for his work rate. And I know work rate is frowned upon in a way because you're a United player and you should work hard. But you can work hard and not have the stamina, and he certainly does have the stamina. So look, who knows what the future may hold? I mean, look, Luckhurst is booking his summer holiday. He's back. I mean, all day yesterday, most of January. He's constantly getting information about what United are going to do in the summer. But Man United plan to welcome a goalkeeper, a midfielder, and a striker in the summer as permanent arrivals. Why would I be interested in this? I don't know why. He's constantly putting stuff... Well, I do know why, because he's being told it. But why are the club constantly telling Samuel Luckhurst about summer plans? Like, it's irrelevant. The next stage I'm looking forward to are games, the players that we've got, the manager that we've got, and who's going to buy the club. The summer is irrelevant. It's like asking me what I want for Christmas. It's so far away, and so many things have got to happen before that. Why are we interested in the summer? I mean, somebody tell me why we're interested in the summer. It's totally irrelevant. It's absolutely irrelevant. I see no point in talking about it. But constantly, we saw it just at the start of the window. Everywhere. With Simon Stone, Luckhurst, Ducker, and back at the start of January, they're all briefed about De Jong and Bellingham. And I'm like, why? Why are we even talking about it? It's totally and utterly irrelevant. The next big thing for us to get our teeth into are games. 8 games in February. And also, apparently in the middle of February, bids go in to buy this football club. To me, they are the most relevant points to discuss for now. We live in the now. We live in today. Not tomorrow, not yesterday. We live in the now. Gomes will be available for the final. Suspension to be served in league games, which seems unfair, says MBP. Yeah, I mean, look, Newcastle in the final. Ten Hag has sort of given us a bit of a warning about February. If you're not aware of the situation for Man United, and we do need to get our head in the game. Transfer window's closed. Exciting to see Sabitzer and Weghorst continue their development and settling in period at Manchester United. But football game tonight, Man United against Forest. We've got to be a little bit careful in that. I think he'll go strong. I think we'll have to go strong because you don't want to give any encouragement. But look, no McTominay, as I said. Eriksen's out for most of the season. Donny's out for the season. So Sabitzer can't play today. So to construct a midfield, you've probably got to play Fred, Casemiro and Bruno. Because if you can't play Mainu, because that might give Forest a goal. You know, no disrespect to Mainu, but he's a kid. So we've probably got to play our strongest midfield ahead of a game on Saturday, a game on Wednesday, a game on Sunday. It's constant. And I hate to say it again, but I still think we're one Rashford, Casemiro, Varane, Martinez injury away, Bruno away from real problems. We've still got a massive amounts of games to play. And it did come out yesterday from Ten Hag, and it was a warning that McTominay's out for a few weeks now. We know Eriksen's out. Sabitzer's come in. But we're still down. Manchester United's... We've got. I'll tell you what. Suddenly it's got better. We've got 7 games in February, not 8. We've got 7 games in February. So we've got Palace. No, we're not. No, we've got 8. We've got Forest today. So we've got Forest, Palace, Leeds, Barcelona, Leicester, Barcelona, Carabao Cup final, or Brentford, depending on who we get through to play that day. So 8 games in February for Manchester United. And February's a short month. It's a short month and we've got 8 games to play. Newcastle have got 4 games in February. 3 Premier League games and a Carabao Cup final. That final, just against Newcastle, by the way, is going to be so hard. It's going to be so hard because it's not like you play 8 games and then it's like, oh, we're at the end of it. After the Carabao Cup final, we've got West Ham in the FA Cup on the Wednesday. So it's just ridiculous, the relentless nature of Manchester United's season. And, you know, burnout is obviously well documented. But if we get to the Carabao Cup final, which we bloody better do tonight, we will play 7 games to Newcastle's 3 this month before that final. Newcastle will have 8 days off before the final. We will play on the Sunday and then we'll play on the Thursday against Barcelona before playing on the Sunday in the Carabao Cup final. You can already see a problem, can't you? Newcastle are a very, very good side and they're going to be a very, very fresh side. So the challenges, the excitement, but he is climbing a mountain, Ten Hag, and I think he's given us the warning. And I purposely spoke about that fixture list compared to Newcastle and the 8 days they get off and we play 2 games, one of them on a Thursday night before. It is so exciting when your team's playing for trophies and, you know, playing for top 4. But the challenge has to be accepted by the fans. You've got to keep it in your head. This is relentless. I mean, it's relentless for us as fans to be watching all the games. It's like bloody hell, what's going on? You know, you've got to be focused. We're playing this day. There's a preview, there's a press conference. It's relentless. And the challenge is there. And I think what Ten Hag is sort of putting out there is that, look, he'll be over the moon with Sabitzer. But, I mean, we had to do something when you look at it. But, as he said, McTominay's out for a few weeks. Eriksen's out till May. Donny's out for the season. His only senior midfielders are basically the only 3 players he can play. Casemiro as the CDM, Fred as the 8, and Bruno as the 10. Beyond those 3 players, there is nobody at the moment. There is Mainu, and now there is Sabitzer. So that's it for the next 8 games. That's what we've got. Now McTominay will be back at some point, but you know, even with Sabitzer, it's a harsh reminder of the enormity of the job in hand. Hope you're having a good morning, says JR. Hope you are as well. Thank you, mate. And Mark, I reckon Richard Arnold's job has been made more difficult due to the Glazers. He may be frustrated himself. Let's see how he is under new owners, says Viper. Thank you, Viper. Now, this is going to rock your world this Wednesday morning. Make sure you smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe. I'm going to read this out. You're going to give me your thoughts. Now, James Ducker is a really good Telegraph journalist. He's a good journalist, not just for the Telegraph. He put an article out yesterday basically bullet pointing Richard Arnold's year as Manchester United CEO. Now, these people probably have got Richard Arnold on WhatsApp. They're probably acquaintances. So you don't really get a lot of journalists calling out the CEO, the director of football. They don't do it. Now, I'll do it. Because for one, they're terrified of actually speaking to people like ourselves, and I don't just mean the United Stand. I mean fans in general. They're terrified of doing that because they'll get exposed because they don't know the club the way you do. They're probably not even United fans. They're just employees, as far as I know. And secondly, they haven't done a good job. And thirdly, they file that as hysteria. Oh, they're just fans, like. But the reality is, they haven't done a good job. You don't communicate properly, and you must be dizzy with the spin that exists around you. But I'm going to be fair. I'm going to read what James Duckers wrote because he's a good journalist. This is what he's had to say about Richard Arnold's first year. On signings, getting Casemiro into the club was a big positive. No dickheads transfer edict. They don't want any dickheads at the club. They've ended the Mayfair power base and given football autonomy to Ten Hag and Murtaugh. Key role in the non-dividend payments to the Glazers, and apparently serve some food in the Old Trafford canteen. So look, if they're the 5 positives, I think a couple of those are stretching, because serving food at the Old Trafford canteen and removing the Mayfair power base of Manchester United, I mean, all right, well done. But ultimately, Richard Arnold was pictured in Barcelona with John Murtagh, didn't get the deal done. We overpaid on 3 transfers in the summer that meant we had no money left in January. Look, who's to blame for Anthony? It's not Anthony. It's not Ten Hag. It's not the players. It's not the fans. Somebody's to blame for Anthony. Why did we pay £85 million for Anthony in the last 2 weeks of the transfer window when we could have paid £50 million for him in June? And that's well known. That is factually well known. We did a video on June the 10th sourcing Brazilian sources that United were after Anthony. 2 days later, these same British journalists spoke about it. 2.5 months later, we bought him because we parked everything to focus on De Jong. Who's responsible for that if it's not the CEO, the director of football? You know, why did that happen? Why were we chasing Arnautovic and Rabiot and then suddenly turned full circle to go for Casemiro? Look, we can all find positives, but some of the negatives are terrifying. And I personally think Richard Arnold and John Murtagh will still be at this club under new ownership. And that scares me because I don't think they're best in class. They may be quite good at their job. They may have problems because of the Glazers. I accept that. I've never spoken to them, so I don't know. And they don't speak to the fans, so we don't know. Maybe their job's horrible. Maybe they could be good at their job and the Glazers cause them problems. But they're still Glazer employees. They don't put much out negative about the Glazers. They put lots of positives out about the Glazers. So they're still Glazer employees. And it's not the Glazers who negotiate these transfers. You know, the Glazers did still spend £200 million last summer. The money was there. We spent it on good players, but we overspent on a lot of players. So, look, maybe Richard Arnold's not terrible, but I certainly don't think he's great. And I think the same with John Murtagh. And I think it's not about disliking these people. I mean, I can't be arsed with that. It's not about disliking these people. There's some fantastic people working at Manchester United, and some of them are best in class. But if we want to be the best and we want to beat the rest, Ten Hag has shown that you need the best. And we need the best director of football at Manchester United to help us on this huge rebuild. And we need the best CEO at Manchester United to help us on this huge rebuild. That is what we need. So spin articles about, the right people are in place. I'm sorry. You can write your article because you got access to the club, whatever. That's fine. But it's not honest. It's not honest. There are huge issues at that football club. And it's not all because of the Glazers. Money has been spent and it's been spent badly. John Murtagh, Richard Arnold and a lot of other people at that club didn't just start a year ago. They were working with Woodward for years before that. They just basically got promoted into similar roles in place. Solskjaer even said it about Murtagh. When Murtagh became director of football, Solskjaer said it's basically the job he's been doing anyway. So they've been here for years. If you want them to stay, that's fine. That's an opinion. Personally, I think the whole club, from top to bottom, needs kicking out and clearing out and starting again. Because it's not worked over the last 10 years. And a lot of these people have been here for 10 years. But interesting. Look, you know, whenever we do a good deal, I think people start to think quite positively about these people. But the past is there. The past is there. If Sabitzer lacks match sharpness, he's got the right coach. I think Sabitzer will be involved against Crystal Palace. Robert McCormack says, I'm unsure either way, but Sir Alex clearly likes him. Robert, if Sir Alex Ferguson told you to jump off a cliff, would you do it? To be honest, I probably would. I mean, Sir Alex is beyond reproach as far as I'm concerned, but his judgment isn't always 100%. And I think he would admit that himself. I mean, look at some of the players he bought. The big thing, if Sir Alex Ferguson likes Richard Arnold, should everyone like Richard Arnold? Sir Alex Ferguson told us to get behind David Moyes. He just won us the title and he just retired. I didn't want David Moyes. I didn't trust Sir Alex on that. I didn't want David Moyes. It didn't feel right. I didn't want him. So that would be my big example. And I think that's a lesson in life. Just because you like and respect somebody enormously, you can't always just go with everything. Otherwise, you're a robot. So look, and a lot of people say a lot about Sir Alex and how the Glazers are in power, which I don't want to talk about. But, look, I can't just like somebody just because somebody else does. Off topic, Mark, but I would start Weghorst for a while and say to Martial that he'll be an impact sub until he's able to come through a run of games. Very important for Martial. We spoke about this last night. He is back. He should be in the matchday squad tonight. Hopefully he'll play tonight. I think with Martial, it's like hurdling, isn't it? How many hurdles can he jump before he falls over and gets injured? He's got to get to the finishing line this time. Murta isn't good and his department is terrible, but Arnold has done a much better job as CEO than Woodward. It's not hard though, says United 2004. They're not football people as well. People forget about this. Arnold, Murta and Judge, they all went to the same blood. They're all bankers. They're not football people. People forget this. They were all mates. They all came into the club together when the Glazers bought us, and they're all from the same university, I think, and they're all bankers. They're not football people. So for me, I want a CEO who knows business but is a football person. It's nothing personal. I just think we can do a lot better. And what I will say about this, because I think this is the next big thing for United, it's the sale. Why would somebody remove the Glazers and then keep their staff? What's going on there? And we're hearing rumours that this is going to happen. Who buys a football club and then keeps the same head of recruitment, the same director of football, the same CEO? What is that all about? Who buys a club for $6 billion and then keeps the same CEO and everybody in place? It's illogical, but I'm telling you now, there's a lot of rumours that that's going to happen. So God knows who's buying it. We'll have to wait and see. Hi Mark, been following you for ages, love the content. Will Sabitzer be used in a similar system like an Ericsson role? He's got to, Ethan. It's not... It's not fair to say this in many ways, but Sabitzer's more suitable in the Ericsson role than Ericsson is because he actually has got more defensive capabilities. A lot of people are talking about, and even United put it in that information that came out last night, that Sabitzer's somebody that is a really good attacking midfielder. But I think that Ericsson is viewed as an attacking midfielder in the Ten Hag system anyway. So I see him as the he can definitely play the Bruno role, but I see him as the Ericsson player as well. But look, Fred's got a lot to say about that. Fred's done really well recently. So I think in Bruno, Sabitzer, Fred, Casemiro, you've got 4 good options for 3 positions. But yeah, it might not be enough. We should see Sancho playing tonight. It's going to be an exciting watch along tonight because we should see the return of Sancho, which in itself will be good. They are bankers, but you could add OW instead of a B, says Aijen. And even if they do 1 or 2 good things, does not mean they are the best people for the job. We need best in class. That's probably what I mean, Sakib. It's like, look, how I would describe my opinion in relation to people like Richard Arnold and the board that we have at the moment and the recruitment we have at the moment is they might be a little bit like Weghorst. Likeable, work hard, reasonably good at their job. But are we going to keep Weghorst in the summer, or are we going to go for Osman or a top-class striker? We're all going to go for Osman. And Weghorst, if it's a choice between Weghorst and Osman in the summer, you're going to go for Osman because you want the best out there. And I think that's what I'm trying to say. Maybe these people, maybe our CEO's not terrible, but we need the best because we're competing against Chelsea, Manchester City, Real Madrid, hopefully. We're competing against the best and we need the best. We can't just recruit people because they're a nice guy. We can't just recruit people and keep people because they're okay at their job or they're reasonably good at their job or they're improving at their job. Like, this is the problem United have had for 10 years. Jobs for the boys. How many people have we given jobs who had connections to the club or connections to the Glazers or connections to the people who bought the club? The club is riddled with it. Judge, Arnold, Woodward all helped the Glazers buy the club, and they all got key positions in a massive football club. There's a lot of people in the fitness departments, the recruitment departments, the training ground who got jobs because they used to work at the club or they used to play for the club. You need the best in class, and if you go for the best in class, who you know or what your connection with the club will never be a factor. Look at Ten Hag, best in class, never played for the club, never managed the club, never trained at the club, and we get the best, and then suddenly we're doing well. Ten Hag is the blueprint across the whole club. I want the best CEO. I want the best director of football. I want the best players. I want the best coaches. I want the best fitness department. If you use Ten Hag as the blueprint, we'll be fine. Just go and get the best. Doesn't matter whether they've got a British passport. Doesn't matter whether they played for United. Doesn't matter if they helped the club get bought or anything like that. Just get the best. Get the best. Get rid of nepotism. And, the great thing about nepotism is basically favouritism for people that you know. If you deal with professionalism, the standards in the football club will go through the roof. Because if you're recruiting the best people, all they want to do is be successful. And if anyone drops off, they'll be out. It's a mentality. The club needs to change. And also, when you are buying a football club and you're going to rebuild it, get rid of the past. Get rid of the mistakes of the past. Get rid of the ideas of the past. You don't want people in high positions from the past going, well, I was involved with this before. Get out. Like, we need a brand new... That's that Ten Hag blueprint. That's what you need across the whole football club. Mark, I'm excited about Sabitzer. However, we wouldn't have signed but for Eriksen. So it's kind of like we didn't do any business at all. Alistair, spoke about this last night. A few people have mentioned it in the chat. Do we buy Sabitzer if Eriksen's not injured? No. United have basically admitted it themselves. I put it up on the screen before. No, we don't buy Sabitzer if we don't get the injury to Eriksen. This is basically it. As Eriksen injury diagnosis became clear the past 24 hours, United identified Sabitzer as the best attacking midfielder available for a short-term loan. So the Sabitzer recruitment was basically because of the Eriksen injury. And I think most of us would say that we should have been bringing Sabitzer in even with Eriksen fit. So Ten Hag's doing it with a very thin squad. Carmine, welcome. Oh, you're a legend, mate. 20 gifted memberships. Absolute legend, Carmine. Give him a shout out in the chat. There's a few other things I wanted to talk about. I want to talk a bit about the summer season ahead, but just a little bit of news that came through last night. Axel Tuanzebe is now gone to Stoke. I don't have the clarity on this. If anybody does, please let us know. But my understanding is, and I don't know whether I've got it on my phone here, Tuanzebe went on loan. I've got some big news to tell you in a minute. Bloody hell. Brilliant. Tuanzebe is a loan deal. And that's absolutely fantastic for him. He's out of contract in the summer, so that's it for Tuanzebe, really. He's going to Stoke to see if he can try and get any fitness and then hopefully rebuild his career. But he's out. He's out of that. Sakib, welcome to the members club. Thank you very much. It's a loan deal, but yes, his contract is up in the summer. So there we go. Wob, thank you very much for saying it's a brilliant show. Love the community. Loved the show last night, by the way. I know we all got an early night. We closed it down at about 9:30, but I loved it. There was loads of lovely content. And make sure you check out the Sabitzer scout report that Charlie put up this morning. But I've got to be honest. I'm loving this season. I know there's a lot of concern, and it makes me laugh. You know what? I get people tag me in stuff and go, these people don't watch the show. They still talk about the United stand being negative and Goldbridge is constantly negative. And I'm like, let them. It's like the best secret that they don't even know. Like, there are people out there who just think I'm negative. And actually, pretty much since we appointed Ten Hag, I've been on a constant roller coaster excitement. I'm so happy with what's going on at United. You've got to call out the problems, and the only thing I'm negative about is the way the club's run and the owners. But from the manager down, so exciting. And you know what? It's probably the first bad transfer window, and I don't think that was a good transfer window, by the way. But I'm not ranting about it. I'm glad it's over. As I say, we wouldn't have got Sabitzer if Eriksen hadn't got injured, and that's not acceptable. I still don't think we backed Ten Hag well enough in the January window, but we know why, because the club's run badly. I'm actually really pleased the transfer window's closed, and I'm really enjoying this season because the challenge almost adds to the excitement. We've got so many games. We're in all these trophies. We're in a top 4 race. We've got a Barcelona to come. We should be in a Carabao Cup final. so many difficult games which get me excited anyway. So many challenges. The squad's quite thin. It's almost like a siege mentality that Ten Hag has created. We as fans, we're all locked into this journey, and we're all aware of the risks, and we're all aware of what it's like. Basically, what it's like is, I don't know whether everyone's seen. There's loads of films about it, but it's a bit like being surrounded from all sides in a fort, and we've got the soldiers, and we've got the leader. And we're going to try and hold our ground, and we think we might be able to do it. But if we lose a few soldiers on one side of the fort, and that becomes a weakness for the enemy to get in, we don't have loads of reinforcements. So we're just going to have to spread ourselves thinly. And it's whether we can fight our way. I don't know whether you've ever seen that game where they do 1 million zombies against 500 SAS soldiers, and then you can just run it as a sim and see how long they last. I feel like that's a little bit like what United season's like. We've got this squad, we've got this manager, and it's good, but the challenges around us, let's just see what happens. And that is exciting. I mean, I'd rather we had the squad that I can believe in the depth, but we don't. So that adds to the excitement. We've got all these games going on, and then we've got this squad that we know is okay at the moment, but if we pick up any more fatigue or injuries or suspensions, then the strength of our team is going to diminish, and then what does that mean for our season? So I'm really, really excited. Obviously, you've then got the backdrop of the sale, which is massively intriguing. And then beyond all that, you've got the summer transfer window, which, to be honest with you, will take care of itself. We didn't have the greatest transfer window, but I'm glad we didn't recall any of the players we have out on loan. I think that is a positive as well, Lee. I agree. I'm glad we didn't bring people like Ahmad back, because they need to be on their own development path. And I do feel sorry for Elanga. I know that's not been mentioned this morning, but I feel sorry for Elanga. He desperately needed that loan deal, and I think Ten Hag wanted him to get it, but he can't do it because the depth isn't there. Don't forget, we've got no rotation for striker and right back with Marcel and Delo out. Keeping staff only makes sense if it's successful. Why keep ones that failed, says Gamer Reaper. Mark, accumulation of yellow cards is suspension in the FAL Cup only, hence Maguire, but straight red is ban served domestically. Bruno G can play in the final, says Matt DePratt. There you go, clarification. Sakib, welcome to the members club. Really appreciate that. Murtaugh's not a banker. He worked for Everton under Moyes. Yeah, I didn't say Murtaugh. I said Arnold. He has been here for years, though. He has been there for a while. Conte's been taken ill. I don't know what that's all about. I mean, I know we're not a Spurs channel here, but we are football fans, and we don't want anything, seriously to be going on. I can't see anything about it. Samuel Luckhurst had just said that Ten Hag held a conversation with Dean Henderson about coming back when Dubravka left, and Henderson wanted to stay at Forest, which is interesting. Let's have a look here. I'm sorry, I can't find where this Conte story is. So Okay, so here we go. Tottenham. Antonio Conte recently became unwell with severe abdominal pain. Following a diagnosis, he will be undergoing surgery to remove his gallbladder today and will return following a period of recuperation. Everyone at the club wishes him well. So Conte, illness for, we obviously wish him all the best. These things happen, don't they? Life is life. A football season can't be the dictator when you've got an illness like that. So we wish him all the best. It doesn't sound like it's anything serious. It sounds like he's just going to have to take an operation and a bit of recovery. Does that impact on United's top four hopes? I'm not really interested in that. You're talking about somebody's health there, but it's unfortunate, says Mario. Yeah, and we wish him all the best. Football is football, as I say. Life is life, and I don't think Spurs are going to get top four anyway. I know you don't But do you think Ten Hag wants a new goalkeeper, says Roberts? I think Samuel Luckhurst wants us to get another goalkeeper. I mean, he can't shut up about us signing a new goalkeeper, and he can't shut up about Dean Henderson. So I think we know what Samuel Luckhurst wants. But, bless him. But at the end of the day, I think I trust Ten Hag. I trust Ten Hag. And if he wants to bring a new goalkeeper in, then bring a new goalkeeper in. I personally don't think that that's an area that we need to be looking at when we don't even know who the new owners are. We don't know what funds are going to be available. I mean, at the end of the day, to bring a goalkeeper in to replace De Gea is not easy. I've said this before. I saw it when Schmeichel went, and I saw it when Van der Sar went. It's not easy to replace a goalkeeper, and it's not easy to be a Man United goalkeeper. We've seen it with Henderson. We've seen it with Depravka. You put them in goal at Man United and they start doing silly things. You know, it's a pressure position. And De Gea knows it like the back of his hand. I personally think the right thing for Ten Hag to do with the goalkeeper is to bring a young goalkeeper in to work under De Gea for 2 years. And that young goalkeeper can be in the vision of whatever Ten Hag wants. But if you bring a young goalkeeper in and you feed them into the team gradually, so you play them in the Champions League or the Carabao Cup or the odd Premier League game, and they learn from De Gea about being a Man United goalkeeper and the pressures and the stress and the mental side of it, and then they've got different attributes to De Gea. In 2 years' time, they become the goalkeeper, and it's an apprenticeship. I think goalkeeper for Man United is probably the one position where I look back at Schmeichel, and I think if we'd brought a goalkeeper in to work under him for 2 years, that transition probably would have been a lot better. But it doesn't work well for United when a good goalkeeper goes and we bring a goalkeeper in. There's always, a year or two where, mistakes and, consistency, it's a problem. People think you can just take David Raya from Brentford and he'll just become better than De Gea overnight. It won't happen. So I think that my concern with the goalkeeping situation is, one, I think David De Gea does a fantastic job, and I'm very happy with him and I want him to stay. But two, even if you don't want that to happen, I think the transition from De Gea to a new goalkeeper could cost us a lot of points over the first year or two. So I would, and also, whether it's financial fair play or restricted budgets, whatever, if you can spend £200 million in the summer, would you waste 50 million of it on a goalkeeper? I think you've got to get a midfielder, a striker, a centre-back before you even look at goalkeeper. So I think United should be looking to bring in a goalkeeper, but not at the expense of David De Gea. I think David De Gea needs to stay at the club and be part of that transition. What will be telling is whether if David De Gea doesn't sign a new contract, then I think he's going to go in the summer because he's out of contract in the summer. But if he signs a contract, then maybe we'll do what I've suggested there and bring a younger goalkeeper in. I think the worst thing we can do is bring Dean Henderson back. I mean, he's shown what he's all about. He is his own biggest fan. He never shuts up about it. And that is not what you need in a goalkeeper. I remember talking to Ben Foster about this, and he said in the goalkeeping world, you want to know you're the number one, and the reserve goalkeeper needs to know they're the reserve goalkeeper. And then you have a great relationship. You work together. You're working for the team. The reserve keeper knows they're the reserve goalkeeper, and the number one knows they're the number one. And mentally, that's the best way, and that's the best way it is, because there's no disruption there, and everyone knows their role. And if there's an injury to the first team keeper, the reserve goalkeeper knows that's their chance. But what you don't want is two goalkeepers competing for number one. It's a bit like what Chelsea have had with Kepa and Mendy. There's no stability in that goalkeeping position, and we saw it as well. So no, I don't know. Look, I think people think that I'm obsessively, backing of David De Gea. I don't think we need to replace David De Gea. That's my stance. But if Ten Hag thinks it, I'll back it, because that's what it's all about. I think the big thing is if he signs that new contract. I'm expecting United to start announcing contracts, whether it's Rashford, De Gea, Luke Shaw, Dalot. I think that those contracts will be starting to get announced soon. But yeah, for many reasons, I've said it before. He might not be the goalkeeper, but Lafont is a young goalkeeper with lots of potential. Year left on his contract. That's the type of goalkeeper I'd be going for, because I really do think that the most important thing, and even if I wasn't a De Gea fan, I would still say this needs to be a gradual thing. You can't just sell De Gea and then put a new goalkeeper in, because it could mess our whole season up. You could bring in Sanchez or Costa or whoever the goalkeepers that everyone wants, and you stick them in goal at Old Trafford, the opening game of the season, and they just disappear. The nerves, the enormity of the job, the pressure, they cost us a goal, we lose a game. That we've seen that. David De Gea, when he first came into the club, wasn't particularly consistent. Bosnich years ago, Barthez, Tim Howard. There's been so many goalkeepers who just can't handle the It's the consistency. They can pull off a good save, they can have a good game, but the consistency, game to game to game. This is what the big goalies are all about. The Casillas, the De Geas, the Buffons. It's the mental game. You know what it is? It's that game against Crystal Palace a couple of weeks ago, where David De Gea's got nothing to do at Selhurst Park. It's a cold night in London. He's got nothing to do. And then out of nowhere, a worldie's going in his top corner and he pulls the save off. That is what goalkeeping is all about. Being a goalkeeper for Sheffield United or whatever, where you've got 20 shots at you a game, any goalkeeper can look good in those circumstances. It's the Alissons of this world. It's the De Geas of this world who have nothing to do for 40 minutes and then suddenly have to pull a worldie out. That's what it's all about. Yeah, I remember TEB, Lee. I do remember TEB. But look, as I said, I'm really excited about the next month. I think it's going to be a huge challenge for us, as I said, and I find it amazing. But it's just the way it is. Newcastle have 8 days off before the Carabao Cup final, and we'll play 2 games in those times, including a game on Thursday night against Barcelona before a Sunday final, and then on the Wednesday we've got the FA Cup against West Ham. It is huge demands on the players. It is huge demand on the coaching. It is huge demands on the club, and it is huge demands on Ten Hag. And as fans, all we can do is support, hope, and be realistic. And if the team does start to drop like flies and results start to drop, it will be because of the squad. It will not be because of the players or the manager. It will be because the squad doesn't have that depth in it of quality or whatever. And I hope that at the end of May, we're sat here going, how did we do that? How did we do that with limited squad? How did we win those trophies and get top 4? That's what we're hoping for. That's what the excitement's all about. And I'm really interested to see how it pans out, because we've got loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of games, and we're still in everything. Can Sabitzer play in the cup final? Sabitzer can play in everything. He can play in the Europa League, he can play in the FA Cup, he can play in the Carabao Cup, he can play in everything, but he can't play tonight because he only got registered last night. So Sabitzer will be available for the Palace game on Saturday, which means tonight we're probably going to have to play Casemiro, Bruno and Fred, because I can't see how you can construct a midfield tonight. People are always obsessed with rotation. I don't see how we can rotate tonight. We're 3-0 up at home to Forest. We really should be rotating, but I don't see how we can rotate. Sabitzer, I'm sure, will be in the crowd tonight, Leo J. And also, we've got the return of Jadon Sancho tonight, and Martial's apparently going to be involved as well. So, look, we've just got to focus on the games now. The transfer window's closed. Chelsea can't buy any more players. We're in the top 4. We should be in the final tonight. We've got Barcelona coming up in a couple of weeks. We've got 3 big Premier League games. There will be teams trying to hunt us down. I think Chelsea, Liverpool will have a go, even though they're 10 points behind. What we need to do is go and beat Palace at the weekend, beat Leeds and beat Leeds. If we can get those 3 wins, whatever Chelsea and Liverpool have got in mind, no one can close a gap. In fact, I would say this. Every 3 games, as long as we win 2, we'll get top 4. Just do it look at it like that. If we win 2 out of our next 3 Premier League games and then keep doing that, we will accumulate enough points that 10-point gap won't be able to be breached. And that's the way to look at it. What was the big news? I don't even know what you're talking about. You're blocked, you twats. Piss off. Some people are so bloody rude. What was the big news? What are you talking about? What the big news was? We've been live for 50 minutes talking about all sorts of stuff. How's about set your alarm clock and listen? Big news. Big news. Oh, I know what the big news was, actually. Just realised. Apologies. It is live. The big news is that we've sold out Manchester. Manchester's sold out on the tour. That's what it was. So you are part of the community, and I thought you might be quite happy about it. We've sold out the Manchester. We've only got London left. big news for me. Big news for people who are part of the United Stand community. So yeah, we're going on tour in March, and the big news is that we've just sold out Manchester this morning, which is great. So thank you, everyone. You can get your tickets if you want for London. London's the last one we've got now in March, and that's the biggest venue as well. So I think London's going to be really good. And I've had one of those moments. At least I can accept it. At least I can accept it. I'm not unblocking them because I didn't block them in the first place. And Matthew, you don't tell me what to do. If you don't like it, jog on. Thanks everyone for watching today. As I said, what have we got today? So we've got the watch along tonight. Playing Forest. It's Wednesday. Yeah. And life is good. There we go. Unless you got blocked. Bad day for them. You know, Stubborn Bridge ain't going to bring him back. People are telling me to unblock them. I can't be bothered to track back through the chat. And they had a rubbish name anyway. It was clearly somebody who'd set up a YouTube account just to be a twat. They didn't have like a decent picture or a member badge next to them. So, you know, at the end of the day, screw them. You know, there's plenty more fish in the sea. I will unblock them. I'm just trying to piss about with you. But yeah, London's the only one left. If you want to come over to London, or you live in London and you want to be part of the community in March, the international break, these shows are going to be brilliant. I can't wait for them. We've sold out Manchester. We've sold out Dublin. Just got London left. Links in the video description and in the chat. Get your tickets while you can. It's going to be an event, and I'll speak to you a little bit later. Thanks for watching. I am on Twitch today at 3 o'clock, Victor. Yes, I couldn't do it yesterday because of transfer deadline day, but yes, we will be back. Thanks, everyone. Love you all, even the blocked guy. Love the community. It's fantastic. And take care whatever you're doing today. You know, I'd always worry about you, you know, when you're out there in between shows, crossing the road, make sure you're looking around. As I always sing to Seb, when you're crossing the road and you're having a chat, you better watch out because you're going to go splat. Teach them early how to cross the road. I know it's a horrible thought, but look, it's true. When you're crossing the road, think. Thanks, everyone. Take care. I'll speak to you in a bit.